number 3, using manipulative materials in teaching and learning mathematics part 1. So we will be having 3 manipulatives for CM3. The first 2 manipulatives, I'll be sharing that with all of you today. That's all about tangrams and colored counters. Then for next week, we will be having 1 session for algebra tiles. Now, to begin with, this will be the content. So as you can see, manipulatives in geometry, manipulatives in algebra. And these are the learning targets that we will be having for CM number 3. Identify different manipulative materials in teaching and learning mathematics.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Explain the usage of the manipulatives and create different manipulative materials in teaching and learning math. Now, let's begin first with tangrams. So I guess some of you are familiar with tangrams. So these are examples. And this one, kini siyang small one, kini, this was the one I used during my elementary years. So it has 7 shapes. It has 7 shapes. The 7 shapes consist of the 2 big triangles. Kini siya o kini. Next, we have the 1 medium triangle. It's over here. The 1 medium triangle. Then we have the 2 small triangles over here. We have a parallelogram over here. We have also 1 square. So these are what constitutes the tangrams. It has, again, 7 shapes. The 2 big triangles, the 1 medium triangle, the 2 small triangles, the parallelogram, and the square. And as you can see right here, we were able to form all these 7 shapes, kining a figure, kining a figure. And these are the reasons why you should use tangrams in your classroom. Number 1, understand area without use of formulas. Like example, I'm gonna be making use of kinilang saya. Kinilang saya. Kini. I'm gonna be combining the 2 bigger triangles to make a big square. And I'm gonna derive the formula for the area of a triangle using that concept. Right? So, mo niya akong gamiton para makuha na ako ang mga mas makasabot sila sa concept sa area. Compute the area of polygons by decomposition. When I say decomposition, like example, I have here a polygon. I will be dissecting this into triangles. I have another triangle. I have a quadrilateral, a parallelogram, a square. Then ako nang ipang-add ilang mga areas. Mo ni gitawag na ako computing the area of polygons by decomposition. And thirdly, become familiar with the names of certain polygons like a rectangle, a trapezoid, and a pentagon. Here, builds spatial visualization skills and conceptual development while providing excitement for each participant. During my elementary years, I was able to make use, mas na-develop ako ang conceptual development, mga visualization skills about it. Okay, nga naman, how will I form this figure using only the 7 shapes? That's the thing. That's the important thing there. That's the puzzle. That's the goal. Tangrams build mathematical and problem-solving skills. It improves shape recognition and spatial reasoning, while solving challenging puzzles. For a while, huh? Yeah, I am recording. It is one of the classic puzzles appealing to young and old, and serious the care and also the carefree. Okay, these are the 3 simple rules for tangrams. You must use all 7 tans. Katong 7 shapes, you call it the stance. Kanang mga shapes inyong tangrams, you call it stance. They must lay flat. And lastly, they must touch and not overlap. So mora jud ni atong timan-an basta magamit og tangrams, tanang 7 shapes or stance should be used. Flat siya, dili sila mag-overlap. Okay, here's one thing. Can you construct the first letter of your name using tangrams? Like, sir, letter E kay Epifanio. Like, example, Leslie, letter L. Ang L, that's very, very easy. So, these are, aniun siya pag-construct. Here, this is the letter A. This is the letter B. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 shapes are being used for all these letters. This is from A to Z using tangrams. Okay? Now, let's move on. Tangrams in art. Tangrams can be used to represent something geometrically. You have there an example, a tangram abstract world map over here. So how do we make it an art? So first is you make some shapes. Like example, kini nga mga shapes. Use the colored pattern guides to make some shapes like animals, like birds, people, buildings. Make a few from at least 2 different pattern figures. Each pattern requires all 7 shapes. Meaning, kini di ay sir, tanang 7 shapes na gamit ani. Same thing with this one. And step number 2, you choose a pattern. Choose a favorite pattern from the ones you've tried or make up one of your own. You can make your own pattern if you want. Arrange it on a background paper, just like what you see here. Glue it down. And lastly, you add details. Like example, I'm gonna be putting design na ako ang ears, ang eyes. If it's a cat, I'll be putting something there. Putang kahoy-kahoy. It's up to you. Be very creative. And what I did during my first day of class, just to let my students have fun with our getting to know, mo ni akong gipabuhat nila right after. Ako silang himo og shape nga murag nag-best represent nila using the tangrams. And it was really fun. It was a good activity during the getting to know or the first day of my math class. Okay, let's go to colored counters. Okay, let's illustrate integers now. So colored counters is useful when it comes to teaching integers. Integers, let's have a review. Integers are positive and negative numbers. There you go. Each negative number is paired with a positive number, the same distance from 0 on the number line. As you can see, the distance from positive 1 to negative 1 is the same. The same with positive 2 and negative 2 from 0 is the same. Same thing with 3 and negative 3. The distance from 0, it's totally the same. Another thing that we need to remember, we can represent integers using red and yellow counters. Red tiles or red counters will represent negative integers. Yellow tiles or yellow counters will represent the positive integers. There you go. Negative for red, positive for yellow. And a zero pair, just like this one, you see, kung naagay magparis nga red o yellow, it means they are equal to 0. Again, if you have a pair with a opposite color, a red and a yellow, then it is what you call a zero pair and it is equal to 0. Now, let us represent negative 3 using 2 ways. Using, unsa nga color ang akong gamiton for negative? Is it red or is it yellow?
Red, sir.
It's red. So I'll be showing you 1, 2, 3. 3 meaning 3 red counters, meaning negative 3. But I can also represent negative 3 using this. Is that negative 3?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because I simply added what? I added what? Unsa may gi-add ni Sir Tigle dara?
2 positive.
Okay. Unsa gitawag na ko ani?
Negative.
Oh, katong ganiha unsa a zero pair. Nag-add ko duha ka 0 pairs, right? So ang duha ka 0 pairs bisag pila pa ka 0 pairs ana imong ibutang, it's still negative 3. So there are a lot of ways on how to represent negative 3. I can add upat ka buok 0 pairs dira, it's still negative 3. Okay? So mo ni dapat natong i-introduce first. I-introduce na nato sa tong students nga using colored counters, we let them represent mga positive integers, mga negative integers in different ways. Like adding 0 pairs, as many as they want. Okay, next. Okay, here's an activity that I would like you to identify. Asa man dire, let's identify. Let's tell which integer each group of tiles represent. Okay, let's begin with this one. What integer is represented there? Negative 2. Will you agree with your classmate? Is it negative 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Kay kining 0 pair, ako nang i-crush out ang mahibilin ana, meaning mauna siya ang answer ani nga figure. It is negative 2. Let's have another one. This one. Oh, what is your answer for this?
1, sir.
Okay. So para lang ma-indicate na ko nga positive, I'll be writing positive sign. Okay? Para lang ma-indicate nga positive siya, pero okay ra jud na walay positive sign because understood na when you say 1, it's positive 1. So as you can see, this represents positive 1. What about this one? Oh, what integer is represented for this one?
2, sir.
I heard Benny said 2. Napay lang answer aside sa 2? It's
0, sir.
it's why 0? Let's do the pairing. Iparis na nako ang yellow ug ang red. Cancel na siya. Kini ma-cancel. Kini ma-cancel. Ang nahibilin diri is duha ka yellow counters. Meaning, positive 2 siya. So it's just a matter of doing pairings. Nasabtan, giunsan nako pag-represent ang mga integers using colored counters. So again dili ta mo diretso sa operations. Dapat we should introduce when you introduce integers, make use of colored counters. Mas ma-visualize sa mga bata. Mas maklaro nila, mas masabtan nila nga maudi ay ni siya. Okay, it's this manner. Okay, mas dali nilang makuha, mas dali nilang masabtan ng concept. Okay. What about this one? If there are the same number of red tiles and yellow tiles, what number is represented?
0.
0. So, if you have the same number of red and yellow tiles, I'll agree with all of you. It is 0. It represents 0. Now, let's go to the first operation. I'm going to begin with addition. How do we add integers using colored counters? Again, how do we add integers using colored counters? It's very simple. We can model integer addition with colored counters. Represent negative 2 with the fewest number of tiles. Okay. This is negative 2, right? Now, represent positive 5 with the fewest number of tiles. That is positive 5. So when I say negative 2, I'll be using 2 red colors for that, yellow counters. Positive 5, I'll be having 5 yellow counters for that. And then, let's combine them. What number is represented by combining the two groups of tiles? Katong duha ka buok, kini positive 2, rather negative 2, kini positive 5. If I'm gonna be combining the two groups of tiles, what's the result? What will be left? Positive 3. So take note with this one, ako nang i-crush out ang mga 0 pairs and I am left with positive 3. Therefore, write the number sentence that is illustrated. We have 2, or rather negative 2 plus positive 5 is equal to positive 3. Ayaw sa i-introduce ang rule. Do not introduce the rules first. Give another example. Give another example. Another example. Then after which, kung nakahatag na ka og example for all the rules, then let the students make the rule out of their answers. So dili na trend karon nga kamoy mo ingon, if unlike sign you subtract, then get the absolute value ing ana ba. Do not do that anymore. You let the students discover the rules. The rules are already there. Ang atong purpose is to let them discover it by themselves. That's one way of developing the critical thinking skills of our students. Here is another one. So let's use red and yellow tiles to find each sum. So negative 2 plus negative 3. So how do I represent this? Negative 2 plus positive 3. Anyone? Negative 2, unsay gamiton, yellow or red? Red.
Red, sir.
Duha ka buok. Okay, what about negative 3?
Red.
It's still red. Tulusad ka buok. Plus, tulo. So, na ko'y maparis-paris dere? Wala ko'y maparis-paris. So, I'll be combining all. Pila may answer ana, class? O, negative 5 ang answer ana nato. Okay? Next. What about this? Okay. That's simply one way of writing that. So, negative 2 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 5. Another one. Negative 6 plus positive 2. So, negative 6, what color?
Red.
Red, unom. And I will be having positive 2, what color? Yellow. And then, unsa may buhaton na ko ani? Mangita ko og pair. So, iparis-paris na nato ron. As you can see, akong gi-crush out na ako. Unsay nahibilin diri?
Negative 4.
Nganong negative 4 man? Kay red man ang nahibilin. So, mo ni atong ihatag nga concept. Red is negative. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4 ang answer ana niya. So, mas masabtan sa mga bata, dali nilang ma-remember using colors. Here you go. So, let's have this one. Negative 3 plus positive 4. Red ang negative 3, tulo. Positive 4, upat ka yellow. Then, unsay sunod buhaton?
Mag-pair.
Mag-pair. Pair na ta. Unsay nahibilin din ha?
1.
1 nga yellow. How do you represent 1 nga yellow? Positive 1. So, ganiha, naghatag kog example sa negative negative, naghatag og example sa positive positive, naghatag og example sa negative positive, positive negative. Kung nakahatag na kag example anang tanang mga rules, oh, let the students discover the rules dayon. Awang pattern by ang daghan ang red, gamay ra ang yellow. Red dapat siya, negative siya dapat. Kung ang daghan kay yellow nya gamay ra ang red sa ako ang figure, dapat positive siya. So meaning di ay sir, kung ang daghan kaayo nga ba nga concept, you let them explore. Do not give them the rules nga when you add integers, same sign, copy the common sign. When you add different signs, you subtract them. Ayaw nanging ana. You do not do that anymore karong panahuna, like the 20th century learners. Is that clear, by the way? So
Yes, sir.
I do hope ha kay again mas dali studies are being made and mas dali jud makat-on ang bata using manipulatives. Mas dali sila makakuha sa concept using this one. So I do hope when you teach in the future, you're already third year niya. When you take the board exam after that, you teach sa public or sa private, please, I do hope you will be using colored counters when you introduce integers. Nya human, kung human na mo sa tanang rules, nya nakabaw na jud sila, bitaw sir no, ang positive ug positive kay positive ang answer, negative ug negative kay negative ang answer kung i-add na ako. Oh, you let them, ayaw na mo pag colored counters kay kabalo naman sila sa rules. Na discover naman nila ang rules. Is that clear about adding integers? Okay, let's go to subtracting integers. So subtracting integers is different. Look at this one. We often think of subtraction as a takeaway operation. So when I say the diagram or which diagram could be used to compute positive 3 minus positive 5. So, unsa may buhaton na ako? Ani nga, ang positive 3, minusa na ako sa positive 5. Well, look at this one. What did I do? Sige, kamo daw explore. Nganong giing ana naman na ni mo, sir? Asa ni gikan ang mga red o kining napuno nga yellow? Sige, analyze. Anyway, wala ni sa inyong activity sa CM, pero it's a good concept nga you can also use subtraction using colored counters. Diba I started with positive 3. So I'm gonna be representing positive 3 here. Okay? Again, I started with positive 3. So I'm gonna have positive 3 here. So using aning positive 3, look at this one. I'm using positive 3 here. Pila man kabuok ang i-add nako aning ako ang tulo ka yellow para mahimo siyang positive 5. Addan sa nako og duha ka yellow. Nya, para dili mausab nga negative 3 ay positive 3 gihapon na siya, magbutang ko og pairs ana. So, duha ka buok yellow, gipuno para 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I'm looking for this. I'm gonna add 2 reds as well para kini siya is still negative 3. Nakuha ninyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then we can't take away 5. Dili man ta maka-take away og 5 yellow tiles from this one. But having this diagram, I can take away 5 yellow counters here. So kung ako nang tangtangon na ang 5 yellow counters, unsay mahibilin? Negative 2. Tangtangon ni nako ang 5 ang nahibilin, duha ka red meaning negative 2. Ang answer di ay nato diri is negative 2. So that's one example for subtraction. Let's have more examples. This one. Let's use red and yellow tiles to model the subtraction problem. Here you go. So I have -2. Sorry. Sorry for that. This is our problem, -2 minus -4. So akong buhaton ani, I'm gonna start with duha ka negative. Nya kuhaan nako og unsa to i-take away nako? Kuhaan nako og -4 meaning sir, kini siya sir kuhaan nimo og -4. Take away -4 niya. Di mo ko ka-take away og -4 anang -2 kay duha ra man na sila kabuok. So what will you do?
Add, sir.
Add og unsay i-add? Pila ka pairs ang i-add? Duha ka 0 pairs ang i-add. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Kay para maka-take away ko, take away dayon ka, xan. O, pilay answer nato din na.
2.
Positive 2. There you go. O, yellow, 2 yellow tiles are left, so the answer is positive 2. So, ayaw sa itong mo change the sign. Okay? Mas maklaro ni nga concept sa mga bata if ing ani nga style pag-introduce sa integers. Okay? Okay, let's do this one. Use the tiles. We have addition here and we have subtraction. So I have here 6 yellow or red for number 1.
Yellow.
Yellow. And then, I'm using here mga tiles. I can use tiles here. I can use counters. Now, I have here -2. Nya ako ning xan ang kaning pairs. Pilay answer ani class? Positive 4. Ang example number 2, puros ni red. Red, 3 ka buok ug 4 ka buok red as well. Na ako'y makrush out, walay makrush out, nga naman, kay wala may 0 pair. So what's the answer for number 2? -7. Kay red man siya, red is negative. Okay? Number 3, 8, positive 8, yellow, -5. So ako nang i-illustrate using that. What will be your answer for number 3? Crush out ang mga 0 pair, positive 3. So di ba mas dali siyang makatunan ang concept sa adding and subtracting integers using colored counters? Agree mo, disagree? Mas dali siya kay na-concretize nato ang concept. Okay? Hini number 4. Unsa may buhaton na ko aning number 4 be? Gikan kog -3 nya, kuhaan na kog -9. Mag-add kog pila ka buok, 0 pairs. Are you sure tulo? Unom. Very good. I heard someone said unom. So I have here tulo ka buok, red. As you can see, tulo na ka red. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ka buok, 0 pairs. Kay para kining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, i-take away na ko. Ang answer ana, unsan? Positive 6. Kay ang red dira, i-take away man, tangtango naman na ako ang red. What about number 5? 6. 6, right? So I'll start with 6 kabuok. Nya human, magtangtang ko og -2. Nya sir, ang 6 dira sir kay yellow man na sir. O pila kabuok ipuno nga 0 pairs. Duha. Kay para na ako'y duha ka red. Kay kaawa, look at this one. This is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nya, magtangtang man kog negative duha ka buok. So dapat na ako'y duha ka 0 pairs ipuno. Kay para igtangtang na ako aning duha ka red, pila ka yellow na hibilin.
8.
And yellow means positive. Mo nang positive 8 ng number 5. Ang number 6, look at this one. -3. Nya, kuhaan na kog -4. So, pila ka pairs ang ibutang? Ha, na namang ko'y tulo. I need one more pair. I need one more pair. 1, 2, 3. Nagpuno kog pair para makuha na ko ang negative 4. Take away. Take away negative 4. O pila ka book. Unsay nahibilin pag take away sa negative 4?
Positive 1.
Positive 1. So, mas klaro, mas concrete ang concept sa operations. Is addition and subtraction clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's proceed to the third operation. We will be having multiplication ratakutob, ha? Let's have multiplication of integers. So what does it mean to multiply? What does it mean to multiply? Here is our concept. Blank groups of blank. So number of groups multiplier. This is the amount in each group, the multiplicand. So, kini siya multiplier, kini siya multiplicand. If I'm gonna have this one, positive integer, you already know that, negative integers are red. So, here we go. What does it mean to multiply a negative number? Kay mo man ni importante ang multiplication of negative number. Let me show you. So 1 times 5 equals negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. Negative 1 times n equals negative n. So when multiplying negative 1, take the opposite of the multiplicand of a given number. Sir, how do you do that? O, para mas maklaro ning process, let's have one example. Here you go. Positive times positive. 3 times 5. So I'm gonna be writing this as 3 groups of 5. So start with 5. Start with 5. Then add 3 groups. So the action is 3 groups of 5. So I have 5. And there should be 3 groups. Yeah, positive man na. So I'm gonna use yellow. Sorry for that. Mona siyang answer for this is 15. If you're gonna be counting this. If I'm gonna have positive times negative, so take note, this is 3 times negative 5. That's 3 times negative 5. Interpretation. 3 groups of negative 5. 3 groups of negative 5. So start with negative 5. So I have here, then action is 3 groups. So negative 5, you add, okay, we have 1, second group, third group. This is negative 5, nya tulo ka groups. Mao na siyang answer nako is negative 15. Kay red man ang colors ato ang counters nga naa. If I'm gonna be having negative times positive, this is the concept. The opposite of 3 groups of 5. So, basta't mag-unang negative, you use opposite of 3 groups of 5. So, start with 5. So, I'll be having 5 kabuok positive man na. Then, action, 3 groups. So, I have here 3 groups. Then take the opposite. Unsa may opposite niya ani? Oh, unsay opposite ana? Mahimong red. So meaning if it's red now, it's now negative. Mo tong concept na ko nga 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, negative 15 ang answer ani niya. Now, what about negative times negative? So take note, this will be our concept. Interpretation. Opposite of 3 groups of negative 5. So start pa, negative 5 atong starting. So 5 kabuok red counters. Yeah. 3 groups man na. So ang action nako 3 groups. I'll be forming, oh there you go. 3 groups of 5 red counters I mean. Then, opposite ani niya, himuan ng yellow. O, mahimo na ni siyang positive 15. That's the concept sa multiplication part. Is this clear, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dira sa takutob, ang algebra tiles will be discussed next week. Now, let's go to your CM. Aysa, ha? Asa to inyong CM? This one. Okay. Ang CM, task number 1. Fill in the blanks. Himuan gyapon ni nako Google Forms. Do not worry about the online. Katong video, pwede ra mo answer sa Google Forms sa kong buhaton. Next week pa ni nako ihatag ang Google Forms after nako discuss sa continuation sa CM number 3. Okay? Critical thinking. Ang letter A, pwede na mo mag-start og answer ani. Show the sum. Sir, can I use sir, online man ko, sir, ba? Pwede na ko, sir, akong gamiton, sir, kay virtual manipulatives. Pwede kaayo. This is virtual manipulatives na. Example, sir, illustrate daw, sir. Ang positive 5, negative 5, sorry, plus 3. Pili answer, anak class. Negative 2. So, pwede na kaayo. Inyo nang screenshot, inyo i-print screen, nya mag-open mo sa inyong paint, i-open ninyo inyong paint, nya human inyo ra nang i-select. Oh, crap. O mo na inyong ibutang dire sa inyong number 1. Nya butang ipili answer equals ingana. Same thing number 2 and number 3. So pwede ra call. Yes sir, katong video sir. Na ako'y gibutang sa bottom part na nay circle din na. Oh, pwede ra na inyo koloran nga inyo na i-cut, inyo na iguntingo ipapilit inyo sa paper. Nya koloran lang nag red o yellow. Okay? Sunod, ang tangram, ang colored counters, not that. Ang sa critical thinking. Ayaw sa ning letter B, kay letter B, you will answer that next week pa. Ang tangrams ta. So, morning mga shape. Using the tangrams, just choose 3 puzzles. So, kining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, mupili ra mo og tulo ani. Tuluray inyong isolve. Unya, ang inyong output is similar to this. Example, sir, akong gipili kay kining mga shapes, I should see this one. Mo ni solution ani niya. And I can even again use class. Do you hear me by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can even use virtual manipulatives again. Na ako'y tangrams dire. Example, sir, mag-solve daw ta, sir. Sige, mag-solve daw ta, class. Atong isolve. Asa may ganahan ninyong isolve ani nila? What do you want to solve? Sige. Class, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Ang balay. Sige, ang balay atong isolve. If I will be solving the house. Sige, mag-solve ta sa house. Unsaon kanina ko pag-solve ang house?
Bayan sa mga shapes, sir.
Yes, kini mga shapes. Kay pwede man ni matuyok-tuyok class, pwede ni siya ma-rotate. So, example, mag-start lang ta. Example lang ni ha. Sir, sway daw, sir, kena, sir. Nya human, unsa may sunod buhaton ako ana?
Kanang square.
Ang square, asa man ang square ibutang?
Ubos, sir.
Ubos, dire. Sure, dire?
Baba.
Babaw, sir.
Babaw, dire. Nya,
Chimney.
chimney. Okay, sige. So, ayan na to ang chimney ninyong giingon. Human, unsa may laing ibutang nako dire?
Triangle, sir.
Kini siya? Kini? Ang triangle, asa man ako ibutang ang triangle? Here. Ako isud ang triangle dire. Here. So, ayan na to. Nya human. Kani. Nya ang problema ani ron is kini na nga part. So ing ani ni anyong buhaton, mao ni siya inyuhang challenge. This will be the challenge for all of you. Now, how do I make a house? So, naradi ang house ay. Naradi tay pattern dire. So, unsa man ni nako pagbutang ang house dire?
Ang parallel.
Ang parallelogram asa dire ang parallelo dire.
At akin na o dira.
Okay, nahuman dire. Sunod ka na. Sunod, I can have this over, I guess it should be situated in ani. Sakto ba? Sir, kulangan lagi na, sir. Or, how do I make this?
Rotate.
I-rotate ni na to. Ha? I-rotate ang dako. I-rotate na ako ang dako. There. And over here. How do I rotate this one? Sige daw. There you go. Yeah. Kini siya. Rotate, rotate, rotate. There you go. Mo ni answer na to, right?
Yes, sir.
So that will be our house now. So maayo kay sila eh. So mo ni ang inyuhang buhaton aning inyuhang magpili na jud mog tulo ana niya class ha. Tulo lang inyong isolve ana. Okay? Nya as the same atong screenshot katong online nya inyo ra nang i-paste dito. No need na mo mag-cut ani katong mga video. O kung ganahan mo, inyo nang dara, mo ni ato ang template sa Tangrams. Mo ni akong gigamit sa akong classes. Nga, mo ni akong gigamit. Ako ni siyang gipapilit sa folder, the whole thing. Nga akong gi-cut out kay kung papil ra ni siya class, dali king magka lukot-lukot. So ako ning ang gibuhat na ko ani is folder nga white gipapilit na ko dira or katoy akong giprintan or something else like that. Daon gyud sa to nako pagbuhat basta I was able to make this one. Okay? And then sa creating part, where are you? Dara. Creating part sa Tangrams. Ang sa creating part sa Tangrams kay kamoy maghimo sa inyuhang gusto nga pattern. So here you go. Create two patterns ra jud. Kamoy mag-create dili gikan diri ha. Kamoy bahala unsay ganahan ninyo nga pattern, kamoy bahala ana sa creating part. Unya be creative. When I say be creative, katong giingon nga add details. Kay example sir, kini siya sir, kay ang details ani sir kay magbutang ko og butang na nako sa lake sir. Nya kuluran na ako ingana ba? Sir dog, gonna be having it a garden. Be creative with your output. Nya sa colored counters, just 4 examples. One example sa A, one example sa B, one example sa C, one example sa D. Nya puros na addition. Wala ko'y gihatag nga subtraction or multiplication. Pero kabaw na mo sa concept sa addition o sa multiplication. That's the important thing. Yeah. Again, be creative with your outputs.
Balaya sa creating, sir, di na siya pwede virtual, sir. Virtual manipulative.
Pwede ramang gyapon ni virtual manipulatives. Example, sir, I'm gonna be using this one. Ang buhaton ako, example ha, asa to atong virtual manipulative gani. There you go. Ako ning buhaton, ako ning i-print screen. Nya adto ko sa kung ganahan mo mag-edit, dili din mo magbutang ba mo ron og namoy nakit-an nga kahoy dito sa inyong kuan or kamo ganahan mag-drawing, pwede kay mo mag-drawing og kahoy dira. Nya human inyo nang koloran butangan na to close diri kay para i-close po din nato. Kay para green, ibutang sa din nato. Kay para empty. Ay, shucks. So, makuan. Kay ang nasiguro ni open. Anyway, you can use, at the end do. We can use a spray for this if you want. If you would like to have it colorful inyong pag himuan na, pwede na jud ninyo color-coloran class. You can even make like example, sir, I want to create mountains sa iyang likod. It's all up, and you want to have the sun over there. Kamo na bahalan. Whether
Okay, sir.
kung ganahan mo inyong i-print kini siya, inyo human ang design ninyo is kamo na mag color mo, pwede ra kaayo, walay problema. Kamo na'y bahala unsaon ninyo pag-design ana niya. Just be creative. Okay?